Yo, what it do, everybody out there? Welcome back to another recap/review of The Last of Us, aka the dopest video game adaptation of all time already, y'all. I'm saying it. I'm calling it right now. We're going to be getting into all the nitty-gritty details of Season 1, Episode 2, The Last of Us, Pedro Pascal, hashtag Daddy-O. Let's get into it. We're going to do this thing right now.
Man, you don't want to show no respect for Resident Evil, man, or what's going on?
Nah, bro. If you're talking Mila Jovovich, hell nah. If you're talking Netflix, haven't watched it yet.
I heard
if
it's
you're
so
talking
bad.
about the newest movie, I haven't watched it yet, but that looks closer to the game. But it ain't got nothing on this, bro. It ain't got nothing on this.
Yeah, my
Trust
thing
me.
about Resident Evil, man, one of my favorite characters in Resident Evil is Leo. Or
Leon?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leon.
and
Yeah.
he's not even in the movies, is he?
He's
He's
in
in the
the,
newest
the,
ones.
in the newest
Oh,
ones,
okay,
yeah.
I definitely haven't seen that newest one.
And I found out, like, I haven't seen the newest ones, but I looked up like what he ends up doing because, like, I think the last thing I've seen of him was like when he was in that snowy area. They were finding something like with Alice with what's her face? I forgot
I
her
think
name.
Leon was in one of those Paul W.S. Anderson movies, yeah. Or what is it? What is his name?
I forgot, dude. It's been a while since
It's
I've
not
seen
Paul
those
W.S.
movies.
Anderson. That's the guy that makes good movies. I'm talking about the other.
It's some.
He makes all those artsy movies. I'm talking about the one that makes all the bad ones. Like
It's some joker.
the only good
dude.
one he did was Mortal Kombat 1. But
It's-
what was his name?
I don't know, but he's a joker, dude. Like he
sucks.
he killed the Resident because I like the first Resident Evil. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll
Yeah.
probably see like a little bit more going down the line.
Yeah.
But like everything else, I was like, fuck, bro. I mean, like they even fucked up Jill Valentine, bro, and she's kind of like a huge thing in like
Yep.
in the games.
One of the
She's
most
like
like
a huge
underrated
deal.
cool characters in there.
Yeah, and
Code Veronica and shit. And
Yeah.
then they fucked that up.
they fucked it. They made what was it? What was her name? Alice. It was Alice. Like
Yeah, Alice, yeah.
yeah. They made her like taking all like
She
the
was the
spotlight.
protagonist of the whole thing. Where in the games that bitch don't even exist, bro.
No, like it was like that's when Jill, like, because that's what kind of goes off of like pretty much in like Resident, like originally Resident Evil, like the first one when they're in the mansion. Then she's like appears again in the Resident Evil like 3 and everything so forth, like
Yup.
kind of after the effects. So that's why I was like, when I seen that in the movie, I was like, bro, dude, they're kind of fucking up my girl.
Dang.
She's way more badass than what
Alright,
we've seen.
I'll give it a chance. I watched this new Resident Evil, but
Yeah,
do I have to
I'm willing to watch
Do I have to
Welcome to
watch the
Raccoon City.
old one, the old Resident Evils at all?
I mean, if you're ever curious about it, I mean, why not? But I wouldn't watch the whole series. But I think checking out the original at least would be cool, like just to kind of go back and see a different era of video game movies. You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
they didn't do it faithful like this one that we're talking about today, The
Oh,
Last of
yeah.
Us.
Way
where
better.
Essentially, for those of you that don't know, we've all had different experience when it comes to the Last of Us franchise. My boy Skips right here, he actually, did you play the game back when it dropped? Or like just before?
I played it. No, I think at the time I was living at the Benson house, and then I seen one of my cousins play it, and then pretty much, and I kind of seen like the story kind of
Okay.
play out,
Oh, okay.
and then like I played it on my own. Then I haven't touched it since the remastered version that came out. I think
Yep.
it was either like this year or
Yeah,
it was like
just
last
past year.
Yeah, and,
Right before the holidays.
yeah, and that's when I picked it up again on the PS5, and it looked great. And
Yeah.
I was able to play the story again, kind of get refreshed a lot more with the whole story between Joel and Ellie, kind of venture into like the new
For sure.
remastered world. So it
Yeah,
was pretty
same.
dope.
But yeah, and I haven't beat the game yet because I stink at this game. And I just got to the point of where we are in the actual TV series, and you haven't played the game at all, right?
I haven't even played a single
Yeah.
scene.
He
I've
hasn't
actually
seen
the,
nothing.
the most I've done is just actually. I think one time I was watching you play for a
yeah,
second.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah, like, that's it.
And then we turned it off, yeah, because we're
Yeah.
going to do the show.
Aside
But
from that, yeah,
bro.
I've never played anything, and I am honestly pretty shocked that I haven't played this game because I'm a big of a fan of adventure games as it is. So I don't understand why I haven't even picked up this game.
Yeah, it's like part adventure,
and
part
I
horror
know
survival.
it got like Game of the Year when it came out, you know.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
It was a
10
huge
years,
thing.
9 years ago, because it came out 10 years ago. So,
So,
it got the Game of the Year in 2014.
Watching this show, oof, I'm for sure gonna pick it up soon just to give it a shot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
You don't have to necessarily get the remaster unless you want to, but the regular version of the game's like maybe $20-$30, even less sometimes. So
Yeah.
I would definitely pick it up. Or if you want to hold out for the remaster, maybe go ahead and do that. I wish I would have did that for Uncharted. They put out the whole fucking series on remaster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you hear about that?
I
Yeah,
didn't
was
know
mad.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I would say if this is gonna be your first time though, I'd just say just buy the remastered.
Yeah.
Because like at this
Do it.
point, like if it like it will make more sense like if you already played it and there's already so many remastered versions of it over the years, but since this is gonna be your first time playing it, I would say just buy it like completely like the price that it is. I don't think it's that much right now because
It's
it's
like
been a
50, 60.
yeah,
like
it's like around like a traditional game, but like the game itself is already great. Like the story is already
Top-notch.
awesome. The combat's fun. The upgrades with the weapons that you're able to get throughout the way is already great. Like, and in the show, you get the AR. I'm like, dude, you don't get the AR till like the end of the freaking game. This is some bullshit. It would make everything so much easier if I had the AR there. But nonetheless, I think I think you'll probably enjoy it a lot. And like the whole shots of the game of like how it looks graphically, it just looks great.
In the game, are they also seeking that battery, like how the show's starting off?
The way it's kind of different from what they started off, because a little bit different, because there's things already that we don't really know too much about, like how this whole thing spread. Because like the first thing
Yep.
is that we get the intro of the game kind of traditionally of how I guess we kind of get introduced to Joel and then his daughter there too, and we kind of like have that little soft opening relationship thing. The watch is still there and everything, because like that's another thing that they added a lot more. Where I would say between the game and the show, there's more in-depth details of what happened in between, because
Yeah.
that's they had to flesh it out, and that was one of them. Getting the watch, getting Joel's gift kind of like repaired and stuff like that, because that was like a huge thing, and that's why he still wears it and stuff like that. So that's why I really do enjoy it a lot. The opening scenes is already kind of different because of that, and then they're more in detail, which I do greatly appreciate it, because we get to know a little bit more about how it's starting to spread. I mean, like that scene with the broadcast of that little talk show of them talking about like different type of bacterial infections, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I'm like, all right, this is a great way to start it off, because it's kind of like frightening, because it's something that could like. It could happen. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not.
we
I
kinda
haven't
experienced it like years ago, you know?
Yeah.
realistic way of something like if this went down, this is how it would feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like it was like that whole thing with like the fungi and stuff like that, and like how there's no way to combat it. I was like, Jesus fuck. And then like
Yeah,
having
man.
that doctor kind of talk about it, I was like, shit, dude.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
that's the one thing I love with the beginning of both of these episodes. With episode 2, where you get where you're over there in Jakarta, Indonesia, and you're seeing how everything started in 2003 over there, and how they started to get the actual infection from the flour factory, which is like kind of like a big boost in the actual infection itself, and is kind of where it festered from, and is how it kind of spread out to the rest of the world. So I love the way that they kind of showed that. And then back in 68, how the guy in the U.S. was talking about how something theoretically could happen if the temperatures were starting to rise. Global warming is something that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Whether some people out there want to address it or not,
yeah, it's something.
hey,
I mean,
you know,
this is
whatever side you want to take, it's scientific facts, y'all. Look it up. But that's going on in the present, in the early 2000s, and it's gotten even crazier today. So I love the way that they've taken a different liberty with the show from the game, where the game took place in the present, 2013. We didn't jump forward 20 years like
No.
you did in this. We take place. Everything started off with Joel, his daughter, and the lady in Indonesia in 2003, and that's when the virus initially spread. And then we jump forward 20 years into 2023, when the real story takes place with Ellie, Joel, and Tess, and them trying to find the cure through Ellie's mysterious way of her being immune to the overall infection. But the way they started this episode off with Jakarta, I love that, dude. Just the whole lady, like, just the scientist, just kind of like looking at the lady, almost doing like a dissection in class or some
an
shit. You know what I
autopsy,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, an autopsy. There you
essentially.
go. Yeah.
But it felt like you're in science class doing a dissection, but it was like an autopsy and everything, trying to figure out what's going on. And then you jump forward into the present, and then you pretty much pick up with like the second or third chapter of the game, where you're meeting up with Tess, and then you pretty much meet Ellie, and you got to take her on this mission and break out of the city and all that. So essentially, where they ended off in this episode is where I am at currently in the game. So
At that point.
Did you say
Yeah.
that there was no time jump in the game?
no,
No,
Like-
there was a time
there's
jump. There was a
but
time
I
jump
don't think
after
it was
the daughter
20
ends up
years, was
dying.
it?
It was it was still a good amount of time.
Okay.
It was still a good amount of
See,
time in between.
It was like 5-10 years.
What
it
I
felt
what
like.
I find hard to believe is that a 50+ guy is doing all this. That's pretty wild.
That's
50
true, yeah, because he would be like
Because he was like
50-something.
36, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
on his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
and
like
so
30
if like 20 years passed, he's almost 60 then in this case.
It'll be like 50 something,
Yeah.
56 in the
56,
show
yeah.
and stuff like that.
And my boy Pedro Pascal ain't looking that old for sure.
Well, well, here's the thing. Tom Cruise is 61 or 60 years old.
that's
I
true.
mean, look at that. That Tom Cruise.
Okay, I forgot about that.
You know, so
That is true.
It is a little bit of a different time. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No, I
Look at
understand.
Schwarzenegger,
Okay,
70 something.
Yeah,
And
but
he's-
these people are healthy because we live in a world where everything is accessible to him. Now we're talking in
I
a,
get
in a
what you're
world
saying,
where
yeah.
there's no like actual nutritional food. There's no like for you to be
point.
working out. This is just my inside, you know.
That's a
I'm
good
not
point.
hating at the show at all because I fucking love it.
That's a fair criticism.
But that's in my head. I'm like, oh, wait
That's a
a
fair
second. He's
criticism.
over 55 right now. How is he doing all this, man?
yeah, that's a fair
Yeah,
criticism.
but
mean,
I'm not saying hey I have a problem with it, but I just wanted to address it because I thought it was funny.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
the boy, he's moving around. You see him hustling and shit like that.
Like-
If you either use it or you lose it. And this boy's been using this
Okay,
shit.
that's true,
And then on
yeah.
top of that, he was like and that's the thing I like about the show.
Combat experience.
He's a combat experience. We didn't get to really get
Veteran.
to see that too much. We
in
seen
the
that.
game, right? Did you see it on the truck like in the show?
No, we didn't see that
I
at
didn't
all.
think so,
But
yeah.
the thing on the show is we got more background with, between Joel already itself
Yeah.
of him being experienced within military training, and that's
Yep.
why he's such like he knows like in the game because we didn't know about all that. And like I always thought he was just a random dude, but the more you go along, you kind of think, oh, like, all right, he already has some experience already hand to hand. I always thought it was just over the years he got adapted to it, but
Right.
now with the show,
Yeah,
he
the show
addressed
actually
it.
makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
So your criticism, even though because video games you wouldn't really
Think about
bother
it.
it
Yeah,
you that much,
exactly.
but the game, if they actually adapted it verbatim, that would have been a huger issue and probably would have been something even that would have bugged me even more. So I love the way that they're able to take these certain elements from the game and actually improve certain things, which is something you don't see a lot with these video game adaptations, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And now
So-
this is my last.
so good.
Ooh,
My last thing about not even like a point down, but like something I noticed when they're like walking or like just shooting like a shot, the camera's so shaky. Like it moves
Oh.
around a lot. Like what's up with that? They don't have like a steady camera and it's like
Yeah, they
And
don't
the-
have one of those steady cam dolly.
yeah,
sort
it's
of
like
deals.
it's moving.
They're
like a
doing a
bunch.
handheld situation.
Like it kind of feels like it's bouncing around.
kind of feels like that.
If I had to
I felt
guess-
it. In the second episode, that's where I noticed it the most.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Because the first one I didn't see it as much, but they were doing more steady cam, like almost like one take long shots, like when they were in the car and everything. Where this one, it was more shaky, but maybe they were doing that because they're walking around and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so they wanted it to have that more handheld, shaky cam kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's something I didn't really notice till you mentioned it right now. Like, cause there was a couple instances that was kind of like that when, especially where they're inside that building and those clickers were there. You
Yeah,
kind of
the
like see
museum.
that a little bit more. But I think it's just there just to build up, like, I guess
The
that
visceral, like
that visceral feeling of it, the whole terrifying like impact of like being in a room with those things, because like
Yeah.
technically those clickers they'll fuck you up in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you play in like the hardest difficulty, you get one
yeah,
shot
that's what's
pretty
fucking
much.
me up. That clicker they got away from, I can't get away from this motherfucker.
Those-
I can't find enough stuff. I'm like, I get one bottle and I throw it, and then it doesn't distract him long enough. I'm like, this is some bullshit.
yeah, those
I
guys,
fucked up somewhere. I should have got more stuff.
yeah, it was that was like the whole Brock Lesnar I was talking to you about when Joe was throwing hands with him. Well, yo, Brock Lesnar coming in about to body Joe and he's about to fuck up everybody else
Yeah,
when you're
bro, I forgot
texting.
the name of his finisher. He's coming in, bro. He's like, bam.
Yeah,
Look at that belt.
The thing though I do like about like this whole thing, I don't want to get too far into it because we're just like barely like
Going
approaching
at
it.
every step of the
Yeah,
way.
Hey,
I
man,
don't
take it
well,
easy, man.
I'll hit the
take
emergency
it easy.
brakes.
Yeah.
I'll hit the emergency brakes for this
Pump those
one.
brakes. Take
Yeah, it's
Oh,
being
shit.
pulled.
You're getting spoiled on the whole season. We've seen it all. No.
No.
Nah, I'm fucking around. Nah, he just knows the whole game story, but I don't even know it yet. That's why I'm like, I want to get through the game, but I don't want to like. It's like I'm conflicted, but I think I am gonna just try to get past that point and then just try to beat the game and then see where because I kind of want to have a better idea of like where the season's gonna go, so I can try to predict it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I want to beat 2, so then by the time season 2 rolls around, I already kind of see what they're gonna be adapting and whatnot and all that. But because I don't mind spoilers for things that are already out there in a sense, but. It's going to be interesting to see what parts of the game they stay true to or expand upon as this thing goes on. But yeah, man. But the whole thing with Tess, dude, heartbreaking.
Oh, as we're going there, Tess.
Heartbreaking. I'm just jumping all over the place.
Oh,
man.
jumping. Oh, okay,
I'm just
okay,
jumping
okay.
around.
No, but like,
I was about to start from the beginning right now.
yeah,
but
I was like, we could go from the beginning.
I know. I'm just jumping around. Hey, if you want to go through it step by step, we can recap it that way.
We'll do it step
'Cause
by step.
Essentially, yeah. So right after Jakarta, we jump back over to Boston, and then we jump to when Ellie and everyone wakes up, and they're over there staring at her like, "All right, what the fuck's your deal? Aren't you bit? Like, what the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yo, I'm good, bro. Quit tripping." And they're like, "I don't know, man. I done seen people eating up people for 20 years, man. I don't know if we can trust that shit."
Yeah, I mean, that-
and she's like, "What do you think they're freaking asking you to smuggle me to the fucking West Coast for?"
But at first she was totally against. She didn't want to tell him, but Tess was kind of like really kind of squeezing it out of
Yeah.
her because Joel wanted to like straight up like,
Yeah,
you
he's
know
like,
what,
"Hey,
fuck
yo,
it.
what the
Yeah.
fuck?"
Yeah, I got an AR here that I got end game. I can just one tap
Right
and you're
now.
done.
Yep.
And
Yeah, exactly. Headshot. Bam.
bam, and then that's it, and that's the end of The Last of Us. And
Yep.
Tess would have been alive, but
Season 1 miniseries. Two episodes.
two episode series.
Let's get it. But yeah, but it did take her a while to open up. But then eventually she was like, "Yo, look, this is what happened. This is the deal. And you got to trust me. I'm good." But Joel, the whole episode, he's like, "I don't trust this." bitch."
And it makes sense because like he's very on guard already as it is as a person because already when he experienced even like when everything began, he lost Sarah like right off the fucking bat. He
Yeah.
lost his
Yep.
only daughter.
That's honestly got me by the biggest swerve because I wasn't expecting that. I really thought
Yeah,
it was
I did.
I thought it was a story of just daughter and father. You know.
Nah.
That's right. We were
Yeah.
texting
And
about
I was
that.
Like, oh damn, that happened. What
Yeah,
the? And then
Yeah,
I
bro.
like how in the ending of that episode he beats up, he pretty much kills that
He
soldier.
murdered
Yeah,
him,
like,
dude.
Bare hands.
And I like how like he didn't even think about it twice because he already experienced that with
Yeah.
his daughter. You know, I was like, oh,
Yep.
shit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It had that flashback, and you seen him like he just turned red. He just
Yeah.
like all he seen was blood, and he just went after it because he does not want to repeat the same mistakes that he had
Exactly.
again. And that was like I think that was something that I think a lot of people who hasn't played the game, like that twist in the beginning when the daughter when Sarah gets killed off, I think that's what got like a lot. Like even leading up to that scene when I very first seen it, I was like, "Fuck, dude!" I'm like,
It's never
"Anybody
easy to
got
watch,
any
even
onions
when
in
you know
here?"
it's coming. Yeah, like even when you know it's coming, dude, it's so hard to watch. I'm
It's-
like, ugh.
Yeah, because like it's such. I think in like any related, like especially if you have like a child and a daughter, and you're thinking about like if that ends up happening to you, I think that's like kind of like can get a lot of the general audience pulling in that
Yeah.
direction.
See, when now we were talking about Joel being like spectacle about everything, right? But at the same time, right there, if he saw that the soldier tested the little girl Ellie, right, and she's infected, he should have been. If he was actually like committed to like not being down to transport her, I think he would have let that soldier kill her because she's infected. You know, that's what the test said.
Yeah, I think that's when at that moment because it happened. I think everything just happened so quick because
Yeah,
that's
'cause I
when
think they didn't realize that yet because Tess noticed after he tackled the guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because he
'cause-
dropped it when
Oh,
he tackled him, and
got
then
it.
she's
I
like,
did- I
"Oh
for-
shit,
okay,
what
I
the
forgot
fuck is
about that one.
this?"
yeah, because
And
it
he's
was
just going Hulk over there.
Yeah, and he was like straight beating his ass down like Punisher style, and that's when because like that's when Ellie stabbed him because she knew it because like that's when he was saying, "Oh, we're gonna do it by the book." They were like Tess and Joel was all cool, but that's when Ellie already knew. It was like, "Fuck, I already know I'm gonna show up negative because I
Yep.
already have."
And this fool gonna shoot me on sight.
Yeah, just like don't worry about it, and it's gonna blow it up. That's when she pulled out that her pocket knife, stabbed him, and then that's when Joel wasn't really able to see until afterwards, and that's probably what he probably thought afterwards.
Straight out of the game, dude, verbatim.
That's like that was straight up. Actually, in the game, yeah, was
Like
it that in the
almost,
game?
like
it was
very
like
close. Like
it was
maybe
like-
like 1-2 little subtle
Yeah,
differences.
yeah.
to
It was like
you know what I
something
mean?
because like the soldier because that's the thing with the difference between the game and the show. We didn't know anything about the soldier because
Yeah.
he's just a random like a random
Oh, in the
person.
game, he's just some random guy.
He's just a random
because,
guy.
Yeah, in the episode, you see Joel interacting with this guy like
Yeah.
twice or whatever. You know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
that's what's cool with having an hour-long episode runtime. They're able to expand those things. So he has a previous relationship with the guard, so it would make sense for them to be able to kind of escape, or them for them to have like some kind of plan of escape too, and for them to have that confrontation with that soldier. So you would think, oh, he's gonna let her go, but then it's like, oh no, he's not. So it's that swerve, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, in the game, you didn't meet this guy at all. He just happened to be a random soldier that was there when you snuck out.
Yeah.
It was just a way of getting you to have a challenge during the gameplay. Where this, they actually treated it as a storyline and fleshed it out. And that's the number one strong
I
suit
love
with this
that.
series.
That's, like
Yeah.
they get you so more invested in the show than the game. You know.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like episode 2 did the same thing with the whole time it took him to get through the museum and to get past the clickers. That's like way quicker in the game for the most part. Like I just been stuck there for a minute. Like most people that probably play through the game that are a little bit better at playing these kind of games have already progressed past that point. They're already where probably episode 3 and 4 is already at in the story. But they actually expanded that out in the museum and them getting over there and all that stuff. So I like the way that they expanded that and the way that they had the whole sequence. So as they were making their way over there, and then they have to get across the little wooden bridge or whatever, and then him, Tess, and Ellie are making their way into the museum. That's when shit starts to hit the fan when they end up having to run into those clickers because they keep trying to tell Ellie, yo, you need to shut the hell up and stop making so much noise. We don't know where these fuckers are at. And they think they're going to run into the fireflies, but all them motherfuckers are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bodies, flies hanging around the corpses, man. I'm like, damn, what happened here? And I'm trying to remember, in the game, was that the same situation?
No, it
don't
ended up
think so,
being
yeah.
well, like the thing is like there's like the other thing that was different, like the whole fungi about them being connected to one another.
Yeah, that wasn't in the
that
game,
was
right?
never
Like
a
the hive
thing.
mind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was never like a thing because
thought
like
so.
in that it was the Capitol, right? The
Yeah,
Capitol
the
with
Capitol
everything.
building, yep.
It was like the fireflies were there, but they were killed earlier. But it
Yeah.
was like the I guess the authority, the government at the time, they were the ones that came in and they were the ones that killed him. And like how Tess died is completely different
Oh,
too.
wow.
Does Tess die? Did she die later on in the game or around the same area?
Around the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same time but different.
I
Yep.
am honestly surprised that they killed her off so fast.
Yeah, and it was I think at the time too, like there because in the game there was like a little that little rough spot. They were fighting clickers, all that. There was
Yeah.
like a horde of them, and it was kind of like the same thing here. Not really a horde, but it was like 2 clickers. But the clickers already, from what we're seeing. And before I go further, I love the way how the clickers are. I love how they
Yes.
look. I love the sound that they
Exactly
make.
like the game.
Yeah, like the whole like the click of him, and they're like the more evolved stage. He looked like little butts or something like that. Little fungus all split apart.
Literally like a shroom head. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little shroom head, and like I like how like their movement. I like how like they make them like a terrifying presence because that was something I was kind of like I was hoping like they weren't gonna mess up on because like clickers is like overall like they can be like if you're in a room full of them like they're gonna
Scary,
be
bro.
it's gonna be fucked up
It's intense.
because like for them like the regular infected that we'll see like they can easily like shoot them in the head, but you'll notice like when Joel was trying to shoot at him it takes kind of like multiple shots for them to actually die and stuff like that.
Yep.
So and then top of that you can't really in the game you can't really fight them like
Nope.
because they like once
Once they on you, you dead. That's
Yeah.
why I can't beat
Yeah,
them. Because you
and-
have to have like a melee weapon to beat the hell out of him with. Or you better shoot him in the head with like a really powerful gun from far away. And early in the game at this point, you don't have a gun like that.
No.
You just have a handgun with like maybe 8 rounds in the chamber or something.
and then you have like a shiv, and like I think if like the only way for you to escape from them is like an upgradable, and that's like with a shiv, and like
Yeah.
and like you like normally if you use a shiv like in the beginning of the game you break your shiv, and you kind of use there's multiple things that you can use with the shiv, but yeah, but that's like the only way for you to break it off, and I like how they kind of still made that threatening presence of the clickers like
Yep.
they're nothing to be fucked around with. And throughout that scene with Joel and Tess and Ellie trying to be in their best to be quiet, I loved it because like it just shows like how much of a terrifying factor they are to be in just a room with 2. Now just imagine there's like dozens of them running at you, and then they're
Exactly,
more
dude.
terrifying. They're just like running at you nonstop and
And
shit
it's the
like that.
tension, and that's what you feel when you're playing these sequences and these parts of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're able to recreate it in a way that doesn't feel like they're trying to recreate the game at the expense of the story they're telling, man. Like, it's just so awesome the way they do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you play the game, you'll know it. If you don't, it just feels like a natural progression of the story and what the situation is. And that whole sequence of them trying to kill those fucking clickers was so terrifying. I knew Tess was going to get bit for sure because
Within there,
I
yeah.
was aware that she wasn't going to go on the journey with him. Because I
Yeah.
was thinking the whole time, either they're about to really drastically change the story where she's going to last longer and go into like halfway through the series or so and still survive, or her ass is about to get got right now and it's going to be down to the lone wolf and cub. And that's exactly how it played out. But we didn't know that at first, and I like the way they did that too.
Yeah.
They held back that reveal for a moment, and he was all checking her out. She's like, oh shit, that would happen. And she got bit, and she's like, well,
I like
at least
that.
it was me. And
Yeah.
out of the 3 of us, and they're like,
Yeah.
She's like, I'm about to shoot this bitch. Should I do it? And she's
Yeah.
like, no.
That's the thing I liked about like the way that they're able to address something like that, especially with Tess being bit. Like, because in the game, I don't think Ellie got bit, but
No.
Tess got bit only.
Yep.
I love how they were able to make that comparison when Tess made that reveal that she got bit in the neck and she's already feeling it.
Already the
because
side
you're
effects
right.
are going
Because
in.
like when she got bit, you see her like already like kind of like twitching a little bit with her arm, with her hand, and then like compared to Ellie, Ellie was still she was still normal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
she already got bit and she's still fine, but Tess is already feeling it way more drastically.
Yep.
So that's the thing I really do like that little things that they kind of added on to make the story much more enjoyable for the audience and
Yeah,
making
that's
showing
More
them, like,
layered.
that's a
in
good-
it,
that's
and
a good
it
way
just-
to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just layered, and it all makes logical sense with what's going on. They're not just trying to throw lore at the audience without explaining it. They're actually making it make sense.
Yeah.
And I love the way that they're taking such a grounded approach with this. Like, I think if you didn't tell people this was based on a video game, they would not know it. It would be like how Blade was a Marvel movie where people didn't realize back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think this
that's
would have the
right.
same effect. Like, if you didn't tell somebody, like if my dad just watched it because he watched these kind of shows and he'd be like, oh, damn, this is pretty good. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a video game. He'd be like, what? Like, I don't think people would even realize that. Or if you like told a buddy or like told your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your husband, they're like, oh, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not like gory or gratuitous either, because the game isn't like super gory, like Mortal Kombat status, but it is gorier than the show. But even though I'm a big horror nerd myself and I like gore and you know, all the blood and guts and everything, I do appreciate them taking a little more of a subtle approach to the series and not getting too gratuitous like it's Walking Dead or something. And it makes
Yeah.
it stand apart from all the other zombie series we've been getting ad nauseum for the last 20 years.
I agree with that for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I like that gore scene in John Wick 3 when he puts a knife into one of the assassin's eyes.
Oh, dude.
Remember?
Terrifier 2 right there. You want some gore that you're not going to be able to like look at the whole time while it's going on? That'll fuck you up.
That
boy.
was so off topic, but I just wanted to say that.
Yeah,
It
I'm
reminded me
with
of
you.
gore. But yeah, the Terrifier.
We're known for
I
tangents
haven't
around
seen the
here.
second one. The first one though, he like chops the girl
Dude,
from badge down.
that
like,
ain't nothing.
Whoa.
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 I'm gonna tell you this: every kill is that crazy. It just isn't body. It isn't private parts every time. But let me tell you, there's private parts in Terrifier 2. You ain't seen shit
Damn,
yet.
you like gory stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
wow.
don't like it a lot all the
Uh-huh.
time to that level, but sometimes it's good. And with Terrifier 2, Sienna, the main character played by Lauren Lavera, the great talented actress, all the characters, the writing, everything is so much more like elevated than the first movie. Terrifier 2 to me is like one of the dopest horror movies that come in like
Well,
several years.
that's pretty sick.
It's really, really
Okay.
good. You need to check it out for sure. ASAP. Get that thing on Blu-ray. Can't be more than like $15, dude.
Right.
Super dope movie. You need to check out Terrifier 2. If you can handle a lot of violence and
Nah, I could handle it, but I'm just.
Yeah.
I know. A ton
Don't
of
eat no
people-
lunch, don't eat
I
no
know
dinner.
A ton of people can't handle gore for sure.
Woo!
You know?
That ain't. But
But-
yeah, this show complete opposite
All right,
of
yeah,
that.
back to
Yeah.
Last of Us.
But yeah, for sure. But yeah. So once they realize that Tess got bit, she's like, "All right, well, you're gonna have to carry on without me, y'all." And he's like, "What? We can't do that." She's like, "Yeah, you do, because look at her arm, bro.
Yeah.
No virus infection.
I love-
We got to get her to the West Coast. We got to get a cure. We got to make this right." And
Yeah,
I was
really,
like, "Yes."
I really love how they put that comparison with both Ellie and Tess being bitten.
It's so well
Yeah.
written,
And
man. It's
Are
so
they
well
really
written.
gonna go to the west side, to the West Coast?
Yeah,
They
that's
make
that's
a
where they end
travel.
up.
They
Oh,
make
and that
travels.
plays into the second
But
game as well.
I don't understand. Is like if who was
Well-
that? Who was the scientist that they were supposed to pick up Ellie?
Well, it was supposed to be a group
The
of
Fox-
fireflies.
Fireflies.
The fireflies
There you go.
who sends
they were
them
gonna
over there.
escort them.
How from there? How like? Well, I guess I gotta wait for the show. Never mind. I was gonna say, how do they even like have any direction to go?
Well,
But-
there is
but-
pretty much like a school, a university that they're going to be traveling to, and we do get to that point. But depending how they line up the show, like we do see that full journey kind of go. It will pretty much be showing throughout the show, like in a way that I guess TV related things. It's probably be a lot more shorter in compared to the game because the game is like so many hours, but they're
Yeah.
condensing in this into like a 9-hour, 10-hour type series.
how many episodes is it gonna be? Do you guys
Nine
know?
episodes,
nine episodes.
they're all about
Yeah,
an
nine.
hour each, except
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
was an hour and a half. So you're looking at about 10 to 11 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now you're gonna see the journey now between Joel and Ellie, and you're gonna see that father and daughter bond as time goes on. And I don't want to spoil too much of it because I already played the game and I already kind of have like an idea.
Tommy's coming up soon, I would assume.
Tommy, I would
'Cause
say
it's on the way.
he's on the way for sure, but I don't think he's gonna make an appearance probably until
The last 2 episodes or what?
5 or 6.
Does Tommy betray them or what?
No, I don't want like I don't
off camera, like,
because I was gonna be like I could give you the answer, but I would rather like have you see it.
Be patient,
I was
Miguel-san.
watching a video of Last of Us, and they were supposedly the producers of the game scraped this idea where Tess was gonna make it and go with them in a journey with Ellie and Joel, but then she was gonna betray them, and Ellie was the one who was supposed to kill Tess.
Oh, that would have been. I wonder how that would be playing out. That would have been such a different thing for them to do.
Like she already had Joel down, and like she was gonna pull the trigger right there, you know. But Ellie came and
I kind of wish we saw that now in the show.
That's why I asked about the other guy.
Damn,
Yeah. Right now.
Oh, actually,
Hey, maybe
there is kind of a scene that will be coming up
They might
that
swerve
involves
us.
with Ellie, but it's not gonna.
Oh, and we have her whole backstory to get into as well.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be a little bit more like
next
somewhere
few,
down the
I'd
line.
say.
I was saying a few episodes. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be probably next episode when it's only Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
on their ways to
They're gonna meet up
to
with
find
Bill, right?
to
Yeah.
find Bill. So they
Played by
might.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah, and dude, that was a good. Like, I wonder how he's gonna be playing. So because
He's
so
good
far,
in dramatic roles when you put
Yeah.
him in the right thing.
Nick Offerman, who was he? Where's he from? Is he like the
Parks and Rec, right?
Parks and Rec. He's like the
Ron
Ron
Swanson?
Swanson. Yeah, Ron Swanson.
He's gonna be in this show.
Yeah, he's gonna be the guy that we're gonna be seeing in the next
oh
episode.
my gosh, what?
Yeah,
Oh.
dude.
When you get a chance, like check out the preview they have for next episode. He looks like he's gonna nail it.
He
What?
looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. I think we're gonna get some prologue with Bill because that's the thing. Because like I noticed in the preview, I seen somebody else. I think it's gonna be Tess before they end up going off. I think they might give us more story, but
With her in different periods of time.
with
That's
like
totally
Tess
possible.
and like Joel and then Bill before like everything goes on.
That'd be cool.
Bill at this point, when we see him, he's by himself.
In 2023, yeah.
In 2023, so we might get some backstory before we actually get
03,
into
somewhere
it.
in there.
Yeah, so
I would love
I
to
could
jump
see
to
that
like
happening.
2015 or you know, it'd be cool just to like an Easter egg for the game. Not that they have to do this, but just something I thought about. If they jump back to 2013
2013
and
for
do
it.
something there, you know what I mean? So it's almost like you see something from the game or something that takes place in the year of the game, but then it ties into the new storyline or something like that. That'd be cool. Or maybe Ellie's backstory might tie into 2013.
What I would be
or something.
down for is this next episode coming out. It will be Joel's and how he's been surviving from after his death of the daughter to now.
Yeah, like, I would
be
like
down
some
for
of
that,
those
and then
blanks,
and
you
then
know?
Ellie's background, and then towards the end, like the last 20 minutes, they finally meet up with this Bill guy.
But Bill,
Yeah.
I can see him doing that because this is at that point like
Potentially.
Joel and Ellie kind of like they do have to bond a lot because right now they just left the capital already.
Yep.
They just lost Tess. If I can remember, they're already like on the way, and Joel's already kind of like we gotta hurry up and push forward. I believe already, as it is, they were trying to get the car from Bill and stuff like that. Because
Yeah.
Bill does have a car that they need for them to travel long distance and compared to being on foot.
Yeah, and that's like the very next part after the part I'm in the game right now. So it's almost like pretty much hitting the spots of the game, just like expanding or shortening certain things. So it's kind of cool how they're like hitting all the beats.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Infinity War, how it hit a lot of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, but it just changed up certain instances and certain things. Because I've read that thing a bunch of times. And I
Yeah.
love the way that you can almost put it up like side by side with it, but they just tied in certain things for the MCU as opposed to, or like this, how they put the different scenes in Jakarta and in 1968, and the thing with Tess getting bit twice. I like how they expand things and make things make more sense without ever taking away from what the game's about or trying to change up something like, Super Mario Brothers, let's make them real life plumbers. Like, what? What are you doing? What the fuck is that? Or let's give Sonya Blade and everyone the same power set. I'm like, no, they don't have the same.
It's not the same.
I like
shit.
the Mortal Kombat movie, but that was just stupid in my opinion. I'm like, what? And then they go to Raiden's place in between the tournaments to try to beat him up before the tournament. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
That's
Just
just
go to the tournament. Like,
yeah, that's pretty much the game. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get that. I enjoyed that movie, but I thought like y'all are stalling for this
I've only
tournament.
seen it once, so I gotta see it again.
Me too.
And I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit upset HBO Max doesn't have it up there just because like it's not there.
It's the first Mortal Kombat.
No,
movie
no,
or
the first. Are you talking about the one that came out like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not up there right now.
What?
Yeah, I don't understand why.
Get
They
your
got
shit
rid of
together, HBO.
Yeah.
Come on,
But
man.
one thing I really liked, or I'm liking about Last of Us is they don't really focus a lot, or they don't. Okay, not saying that they don't really stay on the past too much. You know?
Yeah.
Like they just give you little
The prologue,
Yeah,
you
the
know?
prologue pretty much, and just that's like the perfect amount. You know, they're not pulling like a whole Django. Book of
Book of Boba Fett? Yeah. Oh
you know,
my
where like
God,
they're stuck in the past the whole series, and then
on shit sometimes that you just don't care about.
Yeah.
That's all. I would have loved a Fennec Shan backstory.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Like you see how like in the, when they were in the Indonesia city, whatever, and
Yeah,
like
Jakarta.
and they just literally just show you the scientists doing the autopsy. If they would have showed you, her going to her family and like hanging out with them, that would have been too much, you know?
Yeah, I think the ended like the perfect way
Yeah,
for
just
They
give
need
it
to
that
bomb the
much.
city,
Yeah, exactly.
which ties into the episode because they bombed
Yeah,
fucking
yep.
Boston, and
They
that's
did,
why
they literally-
Boston isn't as ran with it as the other
Yeah,
places.
you
because they
see like
bombed it.
actually the bomb damage in the floor and
Yep.
all the buildings collapsing and stuff. Yeah.
It thematically ties into what's going on. It was like I know you haven't watched all of Naruto, but remember how early on a lot of the flashbacks really did help the story and really like flesh things out. But a lot of fans complained as it went on.
Yeah.
They would do it too much where it started to become annoying because they would show you things you already saw in
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
That's where I hope they don't go into, because at first the Naruto backstory was great. When you got to see his dad and what he was doing and how that all ties into him, you're like, oh, great. And when you got to see Itachi and how he killed his clan, and then when you find out why he killed the clan later,
Yeah.
a la Half-Blood Prince style, you know what I mean?
Right.
That was cool.
That's
But then they did other flashbacks where it's like,
That's
hey,
another-
remember when Naruto fought Sasuke 10 episodes ago?
Dude.
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, that's another perfect example of just staying in the past too much. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
Shippuden did that. Naruto, the first series, it was perfection the way they did flashback. Once they got the Shippuden, it was like sometimes I'm like, stop it.
It's just
Like the
waterboards you with
Jiraiya
it.
plot line from the 5th or 6th volume in the no, not the 5th or 6th. What am I talking about? In like the 32nd volume or something like that. A beautiful backstory for Jiraiya and Pain and Nagato. Awesome. That was some of the best stuff they ever did storytelling wise. But then they had other times where they would show you some shit you already saw, and I'm like, dude, get over it. Move
Yeah.
on. So I
Yeah.
love the way that this show has not done that once at all.
That's something I do like a lot. And the other thing too, I'm liking the whole bond relationship. I thought they were gonna they might mess it up between the actor and the actress between Joel and Ellie. Like
No, they're nailing it.
What was the actress's name again?
Bella
Who plays it?
Ramsey.
Belly Ramsey.
GOT, right? That's where she got her start.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
Actually, I remember her debut. I like her as Ellie so far. She kind of has like that characteristic as in the video game, and kind of a little
Yeah.
bit more like, I guess, brought out. Because like when she's like in the hotel room, you kind of see her like cheerfulness,
Yeah.
goofiness
Hey, I'll
type
check
of
into
way.
the room, please.
Yeah, she's doing her own little thing, and that was like something straight out of the
Almost word for word from the game.
from the
yeah.
game. I mean, that's what I like. I like a lot, and I like how we're able to see that little bit of like that little I guess little fun along. I guess that they kind of have like little banter between Joel and
Yeah.
Ellie. They kind of have that playfulness, and then Joel's kind of like you kind of see like you can kind of tell like he wants to open up, but he doesn't fully want to, because there
He
was
always
like
has to catch himself because he knows something's gonna happen that's gonna break my heart again, like it did with Tess when she has to blow herself up to smithereens just to save them so they can continue this journey to try to make things right and get the cure done. It's like every time he opens up to somebody and forms a relationship, it just always goes to shit. And Tommy's the only one he has left that he truly cares about, that he had before everything went to shit in 2003. So I love the way that that's kind of the last thing he's willing to hold on to, and then Ellie's going to become that. And the way that Pedro Pascal, as we all know, is kind of getting pigeonholed into this almost like surrogate father type role, but it really works, and he's able
He
to really
really is,
make
dude.
it work. And I think it is because he's not an actual father, but he is kind of like that with other actresses and people that he's worked with. I think he does kind of become that figure in their lives. Like him and the girl that plays Ellie, they're hanging out a lot like behind the scenes and in interviews and stuff like that.
oh shit.
So it just seems like he naturally is really good at these roles because he is kind of that kind of figure. He's almost like Wolverine is to a lot of the female members of the X-Men in a non-creepy way, like Rogue and
Jean
Rogue
Grey.
and Kitty Pryde and
Oh,
Jean
yeah.
Grey and stuff like that. Where sometimes it might be romantic, like Jean Grey.
Oh,
Other
oh,
times
fuck.
it's just
also
platonic.
also
you know?
with Jubilee, I think.
Yeah, Jubilee. Like he's just cool with her, you know. That's his little sister. You know what I mean? So I like the way that they're able to do that with Joel and Ellie, and the dynamic really works there.
Yeah, I'm loving
Great
that.
actors. We all know Pedro Pascal's killing it. Bella Ramsey, I think she's got a bright future ahead, and she really reminds me of my girl that played X-23. I'm forgetting her name right now.
Oh, her name is like
X-23.
Laura Linney. No,
it
no,
was.
Laura?
no, Laura Kinney.
Oh, was it
Laura
like that?
Kinney, yeah. Laura
Logan?
Linney is the lady from Ozark. My bad.
Oh.
Yeah, Laura Kinney, who played X-23 in the Laura Kinney. Yeah. What the hell?
And
is her
Logan?
name? I'm forgetting now.
Logan.
Yeah, the girl
Or-
from Logan. What's
Oh.
her real
Oh.
name?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You got me there.
I haven't seen her in anything else aside from that.
You know,
Yeah, that was her big.
quick aside before we wrap this up, she is going to be in the Acolyte series from Star Wars.
Bella Ramsey, the girl who's
Yeah, the
playing
girl
Ellen.
that played Daphne.
Wait, it's gonna be
Keane,
on what?
yeah.
Oh, and definitely.
It's gonna be on Disney Plus. They're gonna be doing a Acolyte Star Wars show that's gonna take place hundreds of years, 100 years or so before Phantom Menace. It's gonna talk about the High Republic Jedi, and it's gonna focus on a dark side Sith character that's gonna reveal themselves to the Jedi right before the High Republic ends.
See,
and her name's Daphne Keane, so I was
think,
right.
I think Star Wars is a good franchise that should focus on their past because that's what a bunch of the story is at for sure.
The future, the past, anything in all
I
these
mean,
other time periods, right?
Yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean? Even
I
the
think more in
future,
the
because we
past
don't
'cause
know. Yeah, I'm
there's
with
so
you.
much like stuff.
Old
stuff.
Republic,
Yeah, exactly.
High
Old Republic, so many
Republic.
freaking Siths back in the day. Like you only see like what a good handful in these 9 movies that we've seen.
Exactly,
You only see like 3 or
bro.
4.
Yeah, you know, like what the hell?
you could
I know
expand
there's
so
way
much.
more.
Dude, Tar Vizsla, the Mandalorian Jedi. You could do a whole spin-off of the
Yeah,
Mandalorian
like,
on that.
So much story in their past.
The
you
Rule
know?
of Two, and obviously we all know about Knights of the Old Republic. So Star Wars definitely needs to grow some cojones and get more bold. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daphne Keane. But yeah, Bella Ramsey's giving me some strong Daphne Keane vibes, and they're actually around the same age too. So
Oh,
I can't
okay.
wait to see where this is gonna go. I absolutely love this series so far. 9 out of 10. Sorry, I meant to say 1 out of 10. What are you gonna give this episode so far, and what do you give the series? So
These
far?
episodes or which one? What episode?
Yeah. What do you give episode 2 as a grade of 1 out of 10, and then what do you give the series so far? 1 out of 10.
I give the series a solid just 8.5. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna go up to a 9.
I was gonna say 8.5 too for like as a series.
fast, bro.
I'll give it like this episode like. I would give it a 9 because I really do like how they
too.
were able to
episode.
debut
I
like a
give the
lot.
first episode a 9.
You
Yeah,
give
I
the first episode a 9?
9.
Yeah.
I give this one an 8.5, and I give the show overall an 8.5.
Yes.
Strong as hell, man.
And I agree.
It's just the last episode was just, it's like, I don't know. It was just so incredible. I don't know. It's something about it. It's like the best like pilot episode I've ever seen, other than maybe Stranger Things and Cobra Kai. in, like, recent
As an
memory.
opening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
you
The
know what?
Boys was just kind of like the shock value, and then the rest of the series kind of like became amazing. Where to me, Stranger Things from the beginning, Cobra Kai from the beginning, those were just like phenomenal for what they're trying to do. And this to me was just, the episode 1 was just incredible. The way they took their time to tell that early part of the storyline and flesh out him and his daughter's like the whole thing, the whole way that the actual infection started and where it came from and how it all comes and plays into it. I just thought they did a phenomenal job of making it all tie in. So I definitely got to give it an 8.5. That first one was just so great. This one just couldn't necessarily live up to that, but it was really, really good in its own right.
Actually, I want to reevaluate the whole series. I'll give it like a solid like 8.8, close to a 9. I'm gonna give it to that.
I want to say. I want to say.
I want because like
I don't know.
I'm you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna say 9
Me too.
because both of these episodes I enjoyed a lot, bro.
Me too,
I
yeah.
enjoyed it because like it's something that I had like the biggest worry like them like
Yeah,
oh they're
I remember,
gonna fuck
man.
it up.
You were pretty nervous about this one.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I know they can do it, but it's just like from what we've seen in the past,
For live action.
for live
it's been
action
rough,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
Like
but
they're kind of getting animation like hybrids right with Pikachu and Sonic, but it like Mortal Kombat wasn't quite great, you know. Assassin's Creed they fucked it up. Warcraft they fucked it up. Like
yeah,
all the live action's been pretty shitty. Other
What
than
about
the Mortal Kombats.
Tomb Raider? Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raiders were okay. Both versions I think were decent.
I haven't seen those.
yeah.
I just wanted to put that out
But
there.
Angelina Jolie?
Nah.
Oh man, we might have to do that on the channel at some
Ooh,
point. Do
okay.
a reaction to that. That's a fun one, especially the Angelina Jolie. Those were like some fun, corny action movies from the '90s and 2000s. Fun stuff. But anyway, they just never touched the level that this is getting to. So you know what? Fuck it. 9's all around, y'all.
Yeah, dude,
We're
man.
giving this a 9 out of 10.
That's
This
a
show is
straight
phenomenal.
solid
If you
9.
ain't watching it, we just spoiled the hell out of it for you. But you need to get on it right now. Tell your friends, family, coworkers, your priest, your pastor.
Just have a fucking.
Tell them in confession. I've been watching
party.
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Invite everybody.
Tell everyone you know. Scream it from the rooftops. But while you're up there, also scream out Fandom Frequency, because we need to get the word out about the show. We've been growing
good one.
immensely, so much lately, guys.
Uh-huh.
We're over 200 subs now, and that's thanks to all you beautiful souls out there for sharing, spreading the word, commenting, liking, and letting us know what you love about the videos, giving us good constructive criticism. And we appreciate it, guys and gals and everyone in between, because we love everyone around the world, no matter where you come from. That's what it's all about geeking out and having fun, positivity while we're doing it, and building up a great community. So make sure you're pressing all the buttons below the video. Like, subscribe, bell buttons, all that stuff. Hit the cowbell. Hashtag more cowbell. We're trying to get it going, man. But
Yeah.
any closing thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Nah, dude, I'm just pretty excited for these next episodes for sure.
I am
Fuck
too.
yeah.
I am too, man.
One way or another, every week, you're going to be getting recaps right here with us every single week, every Monday. Make sure you're tuning in and you ain't sleeping on any of that dopeness, y'all. And make sure you don't be sleeping on anything we got going on the channel. We got a lot of Scream content coming. You know your boy is in love with everything Scream around here. Phase 5 is right around the corner.
Yep.
And be on the lookout. Phase 4, we're doing a whole ranking. We're doing a tier ranking for the entire Phase 4 of the MCU in chronological order. Be there or be square. Don't be missing out. You should have gone for the head. That's all, folks. We're out of here. We'll catch you again on the next one. Episode 3, The Last of Us. Peace.
Peace out.